How's it going, y'all? Welcome back to Teach Yourself Cello. So today I want to go over some things we talked about in the last lesson, as well as talk about the instrument hand. So remember in the last lesson we were talking about setting the cello down and picking it up. So we always want to set the cello on its ribs. We don't want to set the cello down like this. And remember, when we're picking the cello up, we're grabbing by this C-bout here and the neck. We're setting the cello on our lap and adjusting the end pin. And we said not to worry too much about the end pin length. We're more concerned about where the shoulders of the instrument are touching our chest. Okay, so we don't want our cello to be too low where we're touching our stomach. We also don't want it to be too high where the shoulders of the instrument are up on the collarbone. Okay, so we also talked about the parts of the cello, so let's quickly go over those. Starting at the very top of the cello, so we said this is the scroll, this is the peg box, pegs, this is the nut, fingerboard, neck, shoulders of the instrument, front of the instrument, back of the instrument, F-hole, bridge, strings, tailpiece, fine tuners, and then end pin. Okay, so we also talked about pizzicato, which is one of the ways that we can play on a stringed instrument. We talked about, oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. We talked about how we're going to sit with the instrument, right? So I'm trying to remember what we talked about first. My brain isn't working this morning. Okay, that's right. So we talked about the orientation of the cello. We talked about how we don't want the cello to be perfectly centered because then we're forced to kind of lean forward. So we want the cello to be at a slight angle. Okay. We also talked about how we want to be in a comfortable position in relation to the bench, right? Or whatever you're sitting on, chair, so we don't want to be too far back to where, it's difficult to get up and stand. And we don't want to be too far forward, right? We want to be a nice, balanced spot on the edge of the chair. Okay, we can easily stand up. Another thing we mentioned was we want a chair or bench where we can sit and our legs, well, you can't really see, are at a right angle, right? So if we're too high up, we're gonna have that kind of angle. If we're too low, we don't want that either. All right, so back to pizzicato. We talked about how we're gonna set our pizzicato hand for that. We said we're gonna set a C shape, and we position our thumb about an inch away from the end of the fingerboard. Okay. From that position, we can pluck our lowest string, our C string, G string, D string, and A string. We talked about how when we're switching strings, we're changing our arm height. Okay. And then we learned our new song, the dad song. Let's play that really quickly. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. D, A, D, rest. D, A, D, rest. D, D, A, D, A, D, rest. Another thing I do for that song with my beginners is I have them stop. That can actually be helpful to just get you used to resting. So if, when we say rest, if you want to add a stomp there, that can be helpful. So I want to do another song. It's the same as the dad song, but we're going to use the G string and the D string. So go ahead and find your G. Okay. Notice when I'm plucking that, I get a nice resonant sound. Some beginners, I notice when they pizzicato, they feel like they have to really wind up, to get that string to go, which you don't really have to do. It's just a quick pluck, okay? And we want to be able to do that because we want to be able to be really rhythmically accurate with whatever we do. Sometimes, we're going to have to pizzicato quickly, so we want the quick pull, quick attack, right? So we're going to do the same thing on G and D, so it's going to sound like this. G, I cannot sing today. G, D, G, G, D, G, 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 D, D, G, D, G. Okay, let's do it together. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. G, D, G, G, D, G, 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 D, D, G, D, G. Okay, and finally, we'll do the same thing, this time using C and G. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. C, G, C. Oh my goodness, we gotta stop this. C, I can't go that low. C, there it is. All right, 2, 3, 4. C, G, C, rest. C, G, C, rest. C, C, G, G, C, G, C, rest. Okay, and if you really want some extra practice, you can vary that up. You can do like a C and an A, or a C and a D, and just kind of do the same formula there. But otherwise, at this point, I just want you to be really comfortable at setting that pizzicato hand, okay, being able to pluck those strings and produce a really resonant sound without, pulling the string too much or taking too long to wind up. Okay, so let's move on to our new thing today. I want to talk about the instrument hand, which is our left hand. Some beginners will ask me, well, I'm left-handed, or I'm left-handed. Should I hold the instrument a different way? So should I have the cello on this side, or something weird like that? And our cello posture is always going to be the same. So whether or not you're right-handed or left-handed, our left hand is always going to be our instrument hand. And when we set our instrument hand on the fingerboard, we're going to be making a similar kind of C shape to when we were making pizzicato, right? But I want you to imagine that you're holding a water bottle, right? An open water bottle. And I say an open water bottle because if we're holding an open water bottle, we're not going to hold it like this, right? Because what's going to happen? The water's going to go out, right? So we want to keep this shape. Okay? And when I'm setting this, I want my arm to be straight like this. Don't want that bend to be happening. Okay? And I like to start from kind of a rested position on this side and slowly set my instrument hand. Okay, remember I mentioned those tapes, right? Those are going to be really important. So if you haven't yet put tapes on, well, I don't want you to put tapes on. I would go to your local shop and have them put those on. It'll be 3 tapes. Okay, so it'll be where your first finger is going to go, your third finger, and your fourth finger, your pinky. Okay, so let's practice setting our instrument hand again. So again, remember we got that water bottle position. Our fingers are nice and curved. Okay, we're making that C shape, and our arm is nice and straight, right? And again, we're just coming from a completely relaxed position on our side. Okay, and we're setting that, and let's go ahead and set that on the D string. Okay, notice when I set this position, my arm is completely straight. Also, I'm not lifting my shoulder up. Okay, sometimes I see that in beginners, they'll go to set their arm and shoulder is up. Okay, so we want to keep that nice and relaxed. So you might have to physically just kind of keep your shoulder down as you set that instrument hand, okay? All right, so the next thing I want to do is something called finger push-ups, okay? And this is how finger push-ups are going to work. So we're going to first start with our first finger, which is going to be the note E on the D string. Okay, so remember that D is the second highest string. It's this string right here, right? Okay, and for finger push-ups, we're going to set that same hand shape, okay, but I'm only going to be moving my first finger for that E, okay, and I'm just going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, just like that, okay? Let's practice that together. So let's reset. Okay, drop our arm to the side. It's completely loose and relaxed, no tension. We bring that arm back up, and we do some finger push-ups on E. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. When you're doing this, it's really important to make sure your finger is completely on top of the string. Okay, so right now, and this may be the only time I give you permission to do this, I want you to set your first finger and check to make sure your first finger is on top of the string and not to either side of the string. Okay, and I'll show you why in a second. Okay, but once you're set there, let's do a couple more. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now hold. Okay, take your pizzicato hand, set an inch from the end of the fingerboard, and go ahead and pluck our note E. Notice that when I played, my sound is nice and resonant. Okay, you might notice that when you're playing, you have this kind of sound. Okay, that could be for one of many reasons. One of them is, like I said before, your finger might not be on top of the string. The other more likely thing is that you just got to build up that finger's strength, okay? And that's why we're doing these exercises. That's why we're doing these finger push-ups, is to build up our finger strength, because we do need a decent amount of strength to be able to sink into the string and let these notes resonate, okay? So let's go ahead and do our next note, which is, we call F sharp, okay? And this is going to be our third finger on the D string, okay? So let's bring our left hand up again. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Our first finger should be on that first tape, third finger on the second tape, and we're going to do the same thing. You know what? I forgot something important though. So remember we were setting this water bottle shape, right? So when we set that shape, we want our thumb to be making a C with our second finger, okay? Because when we set, we're actually going to have, oh wait, you can't see this way. There we go. Our thumb is going to be bent and underneath our second finger, just like this, okay? So we don't want our first finger, or we don't want our thumb to hang out back here. We don't want it to hang out all the way up there. We want it to be right underneath, oh, that was a bad example. Right underneath our second finger, okay? So let's go ahead and set our F sharp again. Here we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. First finger on the first tape, third finger on the second tape, and here we go. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, relax, and let's reset. 1, 2, 3, and F sharp. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And I noticed I just did something bad. So I'm tucking my pinky away. Okay, you don't want to tuck your pinky away because that means you have tension in your left hand. We don't want tension in our left hand. So the fingers that we're not using, we're just going to let hover. Okay, that's the same thing for E. We're just letting our fingers hover above the string. Okay, we don't want to tuck them away like this. Okay, so bad teacher. Okay, I fixed it now. Here we go. One more time, and then we're going to play F sharp. Down, up, down, up. I'm doing it again. Sorry. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Hold down, and let's play our F sharp. Okay. So don't be discouraged if you're making this muted sound, okay? It's going to take practice, it's going to take time to really sink in and let those notes resonate, okay? So don't be discouraged. It's going to take a week or so at least, probably, most likely, unless you're a pro already and you have amazing resonant pizzicatos, and good for you if you're already doing that. Let's do our final note, which is going to be fourth finger G. You relax your arm and hand. You don't want any tension. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, pinky can be a little bit difficult to set. You might, once you set your left hand, you might find yourself doing this, okay? So if that's the case, go ahead, shake your arm out, shake your hand out, and really make an effort to 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep that pinky nice and curved, okay? Here we go. Finger push-ups on fourth finger G. And when we're doing this, we're moving all of our fingers at the same time. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything's moving together. First finger's on the first tape. Second finger is halfway between the first and second tape. Third finger is on the second tape. Fourth finger is on that third tape there. Here we go. On G, 2, ready, go. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, relax your arm. Nice and loose and flexible. Okay, let's reset. Remember, second finger is in line with our thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Hold down. Let's play a nice resonant G. Okay. So that's all I wanted to cover today. Make sure you review your open strings, do those open string songs, and do these finger push-ups. Check your posture as you're doing these things, okay, just your general posture, and also the different things that we talked about with our left hand, okay? So next week we're going to continue with our finger push-ups, our D string notes, and I would also like to move on to our A string first position notes and learn about the D major scale. All right, I will see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.